Hi, you are watching SightsIn Plus, and this is Romesh. Please do subscribe the channel for the HR news, for HR updates, and conversation with the top-notch CHROs, thought leaders, and business heads. Today, we are going to discuss how we can craft an engaging and inclusive onboarding. So, joining us, two very senior panelists. Let me welcome Mr. Sahil Nair, a renowned HR thought leader, and Ms. Urvashi Verma, Head Talent Acquisition at Xperi. Welcome, Sahil and Urvashi.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Romesh.
Romesh.
So, very first, I would like to know, Urvashi, that how do you see the onboarding is evolved and what the challenges generally you see with the employee onboarding?
Onboarding is definitely evolving a lot, specifically, after the pandemic era. We are exploring, we are facing different challenges, exploring new ways to solve. Joining a new job is more or less equivalent to joining a new school, right? A child, what they feel that when they are going to new school with new students, new teachers, it's almost the same kind of experience what the new hire feels like when they are coming to new organization. There is a lot of things which is challenging in today's era, which could be, overloading of information. On the day one, most of the organization, what they do, they try to give a lot of information to the new hire and let them sink into that, which creates a lot of bad experience for candidates sometimes feel lost. The new hires are not able to connect with the organization, with the team, with the leadership, and they are just bombarded with a lot of paperwork, a lot of ppts and forms to fill. So there is lack of personalization as well, because every role, every new hire is different. The way they learn, the way they adopt, the way they see their new job is different. So lack of personalization is something which is making things difficult to most of the new hires to understand on the day one. Additionally, sometimes we face very practical challenges like delay in access to IT, delay in preparing the laptop, delay in some of the basic need which is required on day one. Now, as I mentioned, after pandemic, we are exploring new ways because we are moving on a hybrid work mode. Most of the companies are doing in-person and remote onboarding as well. Whereas we see that those challenges which I mentioned were more related to in-person onboarding. On the remote onboarding, we feel that new hires are not able to connect with the culture of the organization, the what style the leadership style the organization is adopting, what is the communication style, how they are supportive to each other, the kind of infrastructure they have. So these are basic things which a new hire is excited about. Not only new hire, the particular team as well where the new hire is joining, they all are excited about these things. So I think the best, not best, but how we can try to make our onboarding better by making it more structured, more engaged, and it should be continuous for some time so that we can give enough time to new hire to adapt all the information instead of bombarding everything on the day one and day two.
Very, I think you have described it very well. Personalization, that is absolutely, that is a challenge now when we're talking about the remote working. So connect is missing somehow if the 100% onboarding is remotely done. So Sahil, now still if you see around 30 to 40% organization, they're not having the onboarding program. We are talking about the onboarding 2.0, but still there are a couple of companies, around 30 to 30 or 40% companies are there. They're not having the onboarding program. How do you see that? What are the challenges and how the onboarding is evolving in your boards?
So, Romesh, like a typical consultant, I'll possibly share a framework, and I call it the T framework, right? Chai, TEA. The T framework essentially looks at three very important aspects. The first, the T stands for technology, E for experience, and A for affiliation. Now, I've said this many times, and I continue to say this, that the corporate world should mirror society. If we go back in time, opening a bank account or booking a telephone call, an international call, used to take so many hours, so many days. Today, you can open a bank account in literally 3 minutes, right? In 3 minutes, you can open a bank account. Now, if you tell me that an organization has more compliance than the banking industry, I would choose to disagree. With the way we have RBI and we have banks, there are so many documents that are needed to ensure that the creditworthiness, the person opening the account, the funds, everything is very important. And therefore, if they have leveraged technology to help you open a bank account in 3 minutes, why does someone have to spend hours actually filling up forms and repeating the same information that they have filled in at their application form when they were a candidate, the same information later on, so on and so forth? So I think there is a clear need, whether onboarding or no onboarding, many organizations have to adhere to compliance, the law of the land, whether it is provident fund, whether it is for gratuity, whether it is for insurance. You need those details, and therefore the need to leverage technology. Second, E is for experience. Now, come to think of it, if you're going to do exactly what Urvashi spoke about and bombard people with 8 hours, 16 hours of an induction program, please understand today's generation that is entering the workforce has attention span of a couple of minutes. And therefore, the effort that you are putting in to create the employer brand, to get people aligned, is all going to get evaporated in a couple of hours, let alone a few days later. So I encourage organizations to actually think through what is the input-output metric as far as effort on induction onboarding is concerned and retention. And therefore, what is the experience that you're giving to people? Are you leveraging technology enough on AR, VR, emerging technologies, and creating experience where they can sit in one place and actually go to your plants, go to your sites, go to different offices, talk to somebody who's sitting in that office, go and experience how the food would be in that canteen in that office, which is the best among all your offices, just to make it interesting. Experience. Third, I think very clearly is, what is the affiliation? Today, where you're running between an employer market and an employee market, where people are trying to jump jobs every couple of years, is there a sense of belongingness that you're able to connect at the onboarding, which is far more strategic than just a transactional aspect of getting people onboarded because it is the need of the hour? Many a times we see that people get on site even before onboarding is complete. We see that a client needs people and therefore deputation happens faster than onboarding has happened. So are you building the building blocks of what I call in terms of alignment with culture and a sense of belongingness to the organization through affiliation rather than directly onboarding people and it's just be looked at an activity? I think we need to go way beyond a transactional aspect of onboarding to a far more strategic aspect where people get embedded into the organization culture and affiliation. So these are my 3 thoughts, which is the T framework of onboarding.
I loved it. T. That is technology, experience, and affirmation. So that is affiliation. Sorry. So that is a great explanation of this modern, you can say, onboarding. Urvashi, coming to you. So I think Sahil has also highlighted a couple of points related to the technology. We are using the AR, VR, and Metaverse. We are also using. Maybe the few companies are using, but the companies are also using the Metaverse for this to provide the better experience. How do you see as the technology is evolving right now? We are in era of artificial intelligence. Kind of war is going on currently in artificial intelligence. If you see, every day we are getting lots of AI models. How do you see this technology, maybe the AI? How do you see the use cases of AI in onboarding purposes?
We generally say that you teach a person to fish and you feed them for lifetime. So that exactly Gen AI and Metaverse, all these technologies are doing nowadays in our day-to-day life. They are just making those information not learned by us, but it is now engraved in our behaviors. The way it is personalized, the way it is presented to new hires, the virtual assistant, all-time assistant, the AI chatbots. Then we have a lot of feedback and progress reportings. All those things are there, which is making things very easy, very, very much adoptable by all the new hires. We are able to make virtual tour. We are able to, meet our team members as an avatars, which is more memorable to us instead of meeting multiple people for a few seconds in office space. Rather than Gen AI is making things, very attractive, very engaging, and the speed, the pace of learning a person can define on their own. So those kind of personalization is definitely making a lot of difference in day-to-day learning.
I think this is very natural that when we are in era of the AI, so the companies are also creating kind of the dashboards so that they can send a couple of notifications, they can also send the nudges, and that is helping in onboarding, providing the better experience to the candidate. Sahil, how do you see the companies which are using the Metaverse or the VR for the training purposes, basically? Urvashi, you have highlighted in the beginning that, and Sahil, you have also highlighted that sometime overwhelming information, so lots of sessions, 8-hour session, kind of PPTs, lot of PPTs. So this is sometime it is that is the challenge. That is not good experience for the candidate. So how this technology, VR or Metaverse is helping in employee onboarding, Sahil?
So, Romesh, I like to take an analogy here, right? When you go to a restaurant, you may have an amazing ambience, right? Today we see theme-based restaurants, something like a rainforest. We see a theme-based like an Amazon river. We see restaurants that are like a dhaba style, actually created very well. We see restaurants that are from different parts of the world, and you have the Eiffel Tower and you have the Taj Mahal and different cuisines from different types of the world. But my question still remains, are you going to that restaurant for the ambience or are you going for great food? And that's the exact analogy when it comes to AR, VR, Metaverse, avatars, all of that. To my mind, all of this technology is only the ambience. Many a times we get very mesmerized by the ambience and great metaverse and oh my God, I'm walking on clouds and I'm entering my office. It feels amazing. But this lasts like a honeymoon only for a couple of days. After that, when you get down to doing work, if your work does not challenge you, if your boss is not a good mentor, if your teammates are not supportive, all of this beautiful ambience will be okay because the food is not tasty. So I'm a firm believer of the fact that it's good to have great ambience, but not at the cost of great food, which means that your work has to be challenging, your team has to be supportive, your boss has to play the role of a mentor and a coach. And effectively, while onboarding may be a great experience with a lot of technology, the crux still remains very old school to say, am I able to get people to work not because they need to pay an EMI, but because they love doing what they do? So if they love doing what they do, they will be motivated intrinsically to work. And second, they love doing what they do in my organization, not somewhere else. Because I am creating a sense of belonging. I'm creating a camaraderie. I'm creating great friendly vibes where people can be themselves at work. And they don't need to fear anything else of, oh, I'm being judged or, oh, I'm not in a safe space. So I think onboarding is great. We should leverage technology, a lot of what we've already discussed, but not at the cost of basics that are the foundation for great technology to be a good overlay on top.
This experience is really very valuable for any of the candidate who's joining there. Urvashi, if we discuss another technology that is the data analytics, so how do you see the role of data analytics in onboarding?
Data is everything now. data is game changer. And I think everybody in the corporate and myself, we all love working with data because data helps us getting into the minor details, which needs some attention of ours. We can see bigger, challenges, but finding out the root cause is something which we can find out from data. Data is the problem solver for everything. So I have derived a word called PEEP for working with data because as I said, data helps us peeping into all the information. So P stands for predictive analysis, E stands for engagement metrics, another E stands for early iteration forecasting, and lastly, the P stand for personalized insights. That's the abbreviation for my PEEP related to onboarding. So predictive analysis help us, understand that what are the bottlenecks are. The data gives us, okay, we have set up these 5 activities with these are the modes and distributed to these many days, which we think is good for everybody. But it gives us, it let us understand that how to draw that framework, how much time each activity requires. Then secondly, the engagement metrics will let us know, okay, we have drafted this program, how people are getting engaged, what is the, how many people are active during the training sessions, what is their feedback scores and etc. to give us more enhanced information how this program is going on. Early iteration forecasting will definitely help all the organization. If onboarding is not going well, day one, first impression is the last impression. So if the person is not very happy on the day one, day two, the feedback and the comments will let us know, okay, these things are not working well. We have to improve it for next newcomers in the organization so that they have better experience going forward. Personalized insights definitely, give us analyzing, performing the trends to offer tailored trainings and so many things which we can craft for each organization's each department. So this is how I work with data for related to onboarding. And I think data is always leveraged to get the right decisions, non-biased decisions. Companies are continuously enhancing their ways to get all kind of data so that they can prepare the better workplace for all the employees.
So you have highlighted very important point, predictive analytics. So definitely that is helping to, when we are talking about the behavior part, when we are talking about the experience part. And PEEP, I love the word, it is a PEEP. So Sahil, how do you see the role of maybe the analytics in onboarding?
I have to just build on Urvashi's point, right? If you look at the state travel buses, they have these air horns and that beep, 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 beep. That's really painful for the ears, right? Of course, the analogy is great, but I think we need to be very mindful of beep, right? At times, that air horn could be a great distraction because the bus driver behind you has visibility much better than you sitting in the car in front. At times, that horn may be actually a trigger for you to move ahead because there's too much space between the cars. Are we able to look at key metrics when it comes to data analytics on onboarding? Are we able to look at what was my offers that I gave out? How many acceptances did I get? What was my dropout rate? And if I have to analyze this across locations, in a same location across offices, across different teams, across different hierarchies, across different roles, this is phenomenal amount of data that every organization has, whether you're a small organization, a mid-sized organization, or a large organization. Now, going back to PEEP, you may have a lot of noise around you because the person's blowing the PEEP and the horn and the horn and the horn. But in all of this noise, are you able to break through the clutter and actually understand that, hey, in this region, I have maximum amount of dropout cases, even though offer acceptance is maximum. While the data is saying that story, what is the insight you're drawing from it? Is it a compensation problem? Is it a competitor problem? Is it a market problem? And therefore, once you understand what is that problem with data analytics that you receive all these insights from, Then how do you curate solutions to solve these problems? And I'm not sure how many organizations do it, but the ones that do it, I think, are far better ahead as compared to others because they are actually utilizing all the data available with them to prune their policies, to fine-tune their approach, to ensure that the right talent is on their ship and not somebody else's ship.
Yeah, really, you have highlighted very important point that what you drive from the data, that is very important. How you work on this data, how you provide the solution, how you work for the betterment of the future. So that is very important. Sahil, okay, onboarding, first day onboarding is done, you have collected the data, everything. Then second day handover, that is also very important. Maybe with the boss, maybe some couple of companies they're having also the buddy concept. How do you see how we can provide the good experience when we are talking about the handover part?
I think the devil is always in the details. Many a times when we do a handshake, we don't realize, are we shaking with the left hand or the right hand, or are they both the same hand, or is the other person's hand something else? You remember in school, we used to play this game where you would do this, and then you would do this, and then wo handshake hota nahi tha, right? That's the classic case. L&D would take care of onboarding. And as you rightly mentioned, many a times there's a buddy from the business or from HR or from admin, as the case would be based on the organization, and then the person joins the team. Question number one, are roles and responsibilities very clearly cut out of who is responsible for what? If that person goes on leave, does the ball drop, or is there someone else who kicks in to say, now it's my role and I pick it up automatically? Or I say, oh, but Urvashi never told me she's going on leave and therefore I never knew, and therefore the onboarding got dropped, right? And these lame kind of excuses. Number two, we talk about the buddy program. Many a times we say, oh, you know what? This person is the buddy because this person is available. Or this person is the buddy because this person doesn't say no. But have we actually paused to think, what is the mental health of that buddy? Because if that buddy has just come out from a performance appraisal and has got a poor rating, do you expect this buddy to be the best person or your best brand ambassador to go and engage with a new joiner? Is he going to spit venom, or is he going to go and give a bouquet of flowers to say, this is the best organization that you've joined? So I think sometimes it's very important, because the devil is in the details, to even realize that are we picking the right brand ambassadors to create the right impact with the new joiners? And finally, while everybody is busy, and I'm not saying we need to lay out a red carpet for a new joiner, but are we taking time out as business or as leaders to spend enough time with the talent that we spend so much time trying to get them to accept our offer? And many a times we say this, right? That you keep chasing till you get the person. Once you get the person, you don't care for the person anymore. So are you giving the same amount of importance or attention after the person joins, or does the person feel that, hey, only till the time I had 3 offers and I was negotiating, they would call me every day, they would ask me how I'm doing, am I joining, we are doing this interesting assignment, and now that I have joined the organization, it has been 4 or 5 days and no one has even come and spoken to me, and I'm so lost because I don't know what to do next. So I think the consistency is also equally important.
Add a line that were the real-time challenges what we face on a day-to-day basis on a buddy program. But yeah, buddy program is sometimes very successful as well. That's why we can't ignore that. And we have to make sure that we are putting the right efforts for buddy to be trained, for buddy to have enough information that what this person needs to do when he or she is assigned as a buddy for a new hire. So data definitely help us finding out how the buddy program went on. Alternatively, we are now, as I mentioned, that AI is helping us in a lot of things. So new hires can have a chatbot or an avatar who is available 24/7 without any leave or without any sick leave, without any family engagements, that they are available to answer new hires day and night about their queries. And it's make it a little more engaging, I feel.
Great. I was coming to you with this kind of the question that how do you practice? What is the practices? Maybe if you can share with your organization or with the previous organization, what the experience you have, how the companies are, providing the better experience with the handover part. That is very important. So, how do you see here? Like I said, that we can also have some dashboard kind of how you provide. A lot of companies that using the VR technology for the training purposes, because second day is not only the day when the onboarding is done. The training part, that is also very important. So what the practices would like to share for the training, how we can train the person for the profile?
Yeah, I think not training exactly, the onboarding, it starts once the candidate accept the offer, then the candidate joins, and then it spends some time in the organization. For example, probably, 3 months or 6 months. It varies for organization to organization, depending on the information they want to share. Once the candidate has accepted the offer, there is a definitely lot of people we require to keep that person engaged, especially in the employment market in India, which is quite very active all the time, and people chase for better opportunities all the time. Organizations have to make sure that they are engaging the offered person wisely with enough information, not bombardment of information, but the right information through verbal communication, through social media, through employees. Because nowadays, being everybody available on social media, it's very easy for a person to find out information about any organization. They can connect to a random employee of that organization, and they can teach. So that's not only limited to onboarding. So the organization needs to work on an overall culture of the organization, make sure that every employee become the brand ambassador, and try to solve every challenges what each and every employee is facing. There is a lot of effort goes into that, and where there are data, AI, these kind of tools definitely help the HR department to find out the root cause of those problems to solve at a better and bigger level. Plus, once the candidate is onboarded on day one, as we spoke from last 30 minutes, that this could be a very structured, very engaging, overwhelming kind of a day, a happy day, not filled with paper signing, not filled with PPTs. So all those things we can, move to digital and make everything paperless. I practice paperless onboarding from last 9-10 years, and this is working wonderful. On a day one, we are only meeting, celebrating the joining of that person instead of asking them to sign multiple forms, because that all things are already done in advance. After joining, definitely the buddy program, the manager, the entire team is responsible to make sure that the person is engaged, person is having the right information, having the right support to start performing on the role they have been hired to. So there should be an alignment between the hiring manager and the team members, that what this person is going to do, how this person is going to contribute in the team. The team should be happy having this person onboarded, and they should not be feeling competitive. They should be having the thought process that, okay, now we have a new person and we are going to team up and we are going to make a better products, better contribution in our day-to-day work. This is the way we should project our new hires to the team members, so that there is enough support. And the final point is that we should have a check on each these points: offer acceptance, onboarding, month 1, month 2, month 3, whatever works for each organization. We should definitely have a check. We should definitely have a feedback. We should not wait for the entire onboarding to finish up and then look for some challenges. The CHRO office should be very active on those comments, on those feedbacks which is coming in on a monthly basis, and reach out to respective managers or respective new hires, respective departments, to try to solve it during the first initial onboarding months of the new hire. This will definitely give the best experience to candidate. We can avoid a lot of early attrition with this approach. Yeah, that's the thing I think I would like to highlight.
Yeah, absolutely. So, remote hiring, I can say that these technologies are absolutely helping to provide the better experience to the candidates. But Sahil, as you also highlighted in the beginning, that Yeah, technology, definitely these are supporting, but the personal touch, that is very important. So how do you see the role of your reporting boss, I would say, and the leadership to make it more engaging and more inclusive hiring?
I think, Romesh, as we're coming to the end of this conversation, you've touched a very important question, which is about personalization and human touch. As much of technology as you may have, when you have someone at the door welcoming you, not a robot, but a human being, it's a very different feeling. At the end of the day, when you have someone dropping a simple message to say, hey, we met up briefly, and I'm so happy that you joined the team. Looking forward to working with you on this project tomorrow. It's a very different feeling. It costs nothing, right? A lot of people say, let's give fancy onboarding kits and let's put an iPad inside and let's put a coffee mug or let's put a diary. I think gone are the days when people would get excited by that. I think today it's very important for us to reinvent how do we bring the human in the entire onboarding process so that people feel valued, people feel respected, they feel seen, they feel heard. And at the end of the day, when they walk out of the onboarding process, they actually feel this is the place I want to build my career. And it's not just another job.
So true. So I think there are challenges with the remote onboarding. There are challenges with the personal physical onboarding. That's why we are opting the hybrid onboarding. Urvashi, I think we have been tried to touch upon all the important points of this onboarding. Anything else which is important and we did not discuss here, would like to share?
I think we touched upon very wonderful topics and the thoughts, what Sahil has shared, what I have shared, and we commented on each other's as well with our thoughts, and it is going to help our listeners probably. At the end, I just wanted to say that employee onboarding is nowadays is just not an HR process. It's a starting of a journey. So it has to be structured. It has to be with good experiences. It has to be personalized with making it having everything, combination of everything, human touch, data, AI, metaverse, because we have a lot of tools now available, and definitely human touch is on top. But to contribute to that, I think that having involvement of different tools, different AI is going to make wonderful experience for the new hires in future.
Sahil, any of your final comments?
No, I think just make it a moment to remember. I think if today many people go back even 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and they say, that job did a phenomenal because they remember it. So if you can make, and when you're designing your onboarding program or your induction program, design it in such a way saying that what can I do that will make my new joiner say, wow. And if you keep that thought process in mind and then work backward, you will do it very well. And the second thing I also want to say is that many times people who design such fantastic inductions and onboarding programs don't experience it themselves. So after designing it, please go and yourself go through the entire process like a new joiner. Because जब आपको जूता चुभेगा, जब आपको सुई चुभेगी, तब आप दूसरे का दर्द भी समझोगे.
That is true.
Great,
That is
great. So, yeah, absolutely. Urvashi, taking your point that employee onboarding is not just the HR process, the entire team is need to be involved into this. Along with the technology, taking the support from technology, the personal touch, the human touch, that is equally important. Thank you so much, Sahil and Urvashi, for joining the conversation and making this conversation wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
Romesh.
you.
Thanks for the invitation.
And happy Valentine's Day to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank
Wish
you.
you the same.